Hello, everyone. Welcome to Vision Central on May 31st, 2024. I'm glad everyone who's going to be attending. I know my colleague Devesh is letting people into the room, and excited to have the turnout that we have today. It's going to be our biggest turnout we've ever had. So welcome to the eSight Vision Central event on the eSight Go Experience Preview. The coaches have been using the eSight Go for the last few months, and we just kind of wanted to put together a little Vision Central webinar to kind of discuss our experiences and what's been like using the eSight Go in a variety of situations. And so this is a nice thing to, I think, start off with prior to the launch of the eSight Go. And what I'm going to do is going to start off here. Just for the agenda today, I just want to cover the introduction housekeeping stuff, and then I'm just going to discuss the eSight Go MSRP, the availability of the eSight Go, and who are good candidates for the eSight Go. And then we're going to go into each individual coaches to learn about their eSight Go experiences in a variety of situations so far. As for this introduction, so this is live, so things may happen. At the end, if you have a question during the question section of it, to raise your hand, you can click on the raise hand button, or you can press Control Shift K on the PC or Command Shift K on a Mac. And this session should be about 20 to 30 minutes. It may go a little bit longer, and that's okay. So the eSight Go MSRP, the MSRP of the eSight Go will be as follows. For the US, the MSRP is going to be $4,950, and the MSRP for in Canada is going to be $6,600. The eSight Go availability, it'll be ready to ship at the end of June, and patients should be able to receive their eSight Go in July. There's been a bit of delay with regulatory stuff that we've been dealing with here, but the eSight Go that's planned to come out and ready to ship at the end of June, as of this presentation. So one thing just want to cover, some people here joining, it's the first time kind of learning about the eSight Go. So I just want to cover some kind of baseline guidelines for good candidates for eSight Go. And I'm going to have my colleague Devesh in the chat for this webinar. He's going to put a link to a forum. So if you are interested in eSight Go, you can fill out information about your visual condition and yourself, so we can follow up with you if you're interested in doing a home experience trial to eSight Go. You can fill out that form and we can reach out to you to follow up. So just on a high level, kind of basic for the eSight Go, good candidates are going to be those with an acuity of 2080 to 2600. Anything above 2600 is a bit hit or miss, so we just kind of have that as a general guideline. The eSight Go is designed to assist with central vision loss. And the having functional peripheral vision is also important. So the eSight Go uses the peripheral vision to help see around someone's blind spot in their center vision. So conditions such as macular degeneration or Stargardt, the eSight Go is kind of designed to enhance that vision. eSight Go can assist other visual conditions, but conditions that affect peripheral vision, such as glaucoma and retinitis pigmentosa, is a bit more challenging to address. So with regards to the variety of conditions, you have to have some peripheral vision in order to properly see the image in the eSight. Would recommend probably around 15 degrees of functional peripheral vision, just as a guideline, if you're aware of that. Okay, so we're just going to go into the eSight Go experience preview. We're going to be discussing reading and portability with the eSight Go unit. So Richard's going to be speaking to that. And then Jeanette's going to be talking about distance viewing and walking with the eSight. And then Cosmo's going to be discussing live events and TV watching. And then at the end, I have a little video of Leah using her eSight Go to sort some beads that she was using. So without further ado, Richard, do you want to speak about your experiences using the eSight Go with reading?
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. So, one of the things that, one of the most requested things for people is to be able to read. Um, And along with this is one of the more challenging things. What has been great about using the Go when it comes to reading is not only does it maintain some of the features that were really helpful for me on the eSight 4, but it kind of expands that into some other features that are particularly beneficial when it comes to reading. Um, and what I mean by that is with the Go, we still have our freeze framing ability where we can freeze what we're looking at and zoom in, and that will hold it still. Um, we also still have our color filters. So if you are, better with a certain color scheme, we still have those. But the new additions are what are really fun. Number one being we have camera stabilization. And that really helps to hold things steady. As many of you know, the more magnification you use, the smaller the field of view gets, and the more likely you are to see movement and the small, subtle movements that your body makes. Um, and this, this software that is in the Go kind of helps cut that down a little bit. And so it's really, really nice when it comes to that. Now, another thing that has been added that will definitely help your reading is something that is called the digital tilt. So we have an ability now with the Go that if I have a book sitting in front of me, I don't necessarily have to put my head down. I can go into a menu, I can go to tilt, and I can adjust that digitally where the camera will point down at my book and I can look, fairly straight. And this is within, I think 12 and a half degrees, but it's very helpful when it comes to not having to crank your neck and things like that. So those are the things that I'm um, really been enjoying. Along with that, though, this is the game changer for me. Um, the Go is so portable that this has been the first eSight that I personally could use like a pair of reading glasses. And what I mean by that is it's super easy. I can, I'm wearing cargo shorts or whatever, khaki shorts, but it literally I can put it in my pocket. And what makes that great is if I am at a restaurant, if I'm at somewhere and I need to look at one of those quick things and just read something real fast, normally I might have had someone do that or this or that because it's always a process to get the eSight started except for the Go. And the cool thing about the Go is not only can you put it in your pocket and you can use it for those small, quick tasks, but if you have used your Go recently, and it's been, fairly recent, it's going to remember the settings that you're on. So not only um, are you able to just quickly grab it, it boots up really quickly. It will also remember where you were. And that's been really, really nice too. Just for an example, kind of, and this is anecdotal. This is me as a coach using the eSight, but I'm one of those like leg shaker people, right? Like my foot or my leg is usually moving. As you can imagine, when I zoom in and I'm trying to read, I got to stop that because I'm all over the place. Um, and that actually I haven't had to do that so far with the stabilization. So um, it's been it's been a really, really great ride when it comes to that. Like I said, reading is always one of the more challenging activities that I have done in my life. Because I have always had to depend on audible reading. Um, there was no eSight when I was going through college and all that, so I got very good at being able to take things in audibly. Um, and then when I had my four, it was like I was learning to read again, and I was really cool to be able to begin to open up that space again. And now with the Go, I feel super confident that like I literally could walk in a library and grab a book and be able to sit down and scan it, read it. Um, so I'm really, really pleased with the experience I've had so far, and like I said, the added features of the tilt and the stabilization really make a difference. And we kept all of the stuff that made us great before with the freeze framing and the color filters.
Excellent. Thank you, Richard.
Mhm.
Oh, great. All right, and let's go for Jeanette talking about distance viewing and walking with the eSight.
Okay, thank you so much, Tyler. Can everybody hear me? I guess you can,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think you're still sharing your screen, Tyler. So hopefully people can see. I'm going to just pull my eSight down a little bit just to show you some of the things that I do. Now, the first thing that I would say is with the eSight Go, it is a very small pair of glasses. It's pretty much almost a normal size pair of glasses. It's just thicker. And that is really good news because, as Richard mentioned, you can put it in your pocket or ladies in your purse, and that's one of the wonderful things about it. And this means that actually, when you're walking around with eSight, I tend to use the lanyard to stabilize the eSight on my head so that it's really secure and it's very comfortable. And it means that I can actually kind of, if I want to keep my eSight physically on when I'm walking around, I can look down with my eyes a little underneath the eSight, and I can physically just pull it up ever so slightly so that those arms are a little tucked a little lower behind my ears, and the eSight itself is a little above my eyes. And I can just look down underneath that eSight and use any peripheral that I've got, walk along. When I want to start seeing something in detail, I can simply, look through the eSight. I really physically moving it is very minimal because, as Richard had also mentioned, that tilt feature that we have, that digital tilt feature in the camera, is amazing. I don't actually use my remote control. I actually use the controls on the arms of the device. There is an on-off on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand arm, you have all the main controls that you need. You have things like zoom, contrast, volume. You do have a tilt feature as well, where you can actually switch the mode onto tilt, and then you can use the rocker switch just behind there to tilt up, tilt the camera up and tilt the camera down. And I find that this is invaluable for when you're distance viewing, because you may want to see something at a height and you may not want to put your head all the way up. So I use that tilt feature a lot. I will tend to tilt the camera upwards quite often. Even when I'm putting on my lipstick, I find that I just can stand in front of the mirror and actually just tilt the camera upwards so that
Jeanette, I hate to interrupt. Your screen is still off. You're not showing.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I
That's
actually did
okay.
put it on. Oh, there it
There
is.
we go.
I'm so sorry. I actually thought I had put it on, but for some
There you
reason
go.
it didn't go. But thank you so much.
Yep.
So when I am actually standing in front of the mirror, putting my lipstick on, I actually physically just touch the rocker switch that tilts the eSight camera so that it looks up a little more, because naturally it sort of looks straight ahead. So I find tilting it so that it looks up a little more gives me a really good view, and then I can put my lipstick on. Or if I'm in a restaurant and I want to look at the menu on the wall, again, I can, instead of standing there putting my head all the way back, I can actually keep my head pretty much straight and use that tilt rocker feature to tilt the camera upwards a little bit so it looks up for me. And then I can zoom up on what I'm looking at. So I can tilt and then I can press the mode button to go back to zoom and zoom way up on that tilted area. So I'm even as we speak, I'm actually looking at the upper part of my computer, and I can zoom up on that upper part of the computer, and it brings it very, very close to my eyes. So for distance, I find that this performance is amazing. Even watching TV, I was watching TV just a couple of nights ago. I don't watch it very often, I have to say, but I was watching it with this eSight, and I was able to read the writing on the screen from about 10 feet away. Very impressed, very impressed. So I would say that that tilt feature is going to be invaluable if you're using the eSight either to distance view or maybe you're walking along and you want to see something in the distance that's a little bit at a height, and you can use that tilt feature to do so. And then, of course, if I decide that, you know what, I just want to just take my eSight off for a little bit, but I want to keep it with me, I want to keep it handy, I would just literally remove the eSight from my eyes. I can even press the button on the side. It instantly goes into standby on the left. And because I've got that lanyard and I've got this neck battery pack, which is so light and convenient, I can just hang the eSight around my neck, and then when I need to use it again, I just pop it right back on, and just tighten the lanyard at the back of my head, and then turn the put the standby back on, and it's on within a second. It literally powers back up within less than a second, I would say. So it's this is a game changer as far as I'm concerned. I've taken this thing to meetings where I've had to read agendas. I've just popped it in my purse, taken it out there, taken it to stores and looked at prices. Like I said, it's great just to have around. I was looking at my microwave a few days ago, looking at the tiniest writing on there, and even the writing at a distance about 7 feet away. I was able to read the very small writing, and because this has got a lovely brightening aspect to it as well, the white writing on the black background of the microwave really popped out way more than it does when I look with the naked eye. I can't even see it with the naked eye, but I can see that the contrast isn't that great. But with the eSight on, it really pops out. So, yep, distance viewing is an absolute it's an absolute delight with this eSight.
Very nice, excellent. Thank you, Jeanette. Appreciate it. And Cosmo, you want to talk about your experiences with live events and TV watching?
Yeah. Let's see, is my camera on?
Don't think so. Let's see.
Yeah, your camera's on, Cosmo.
Okay. So yeah, I've had this prototype since October, and the name eSight Go really is apt because it's like sunglasses. You can fold them up. I came on board with eSight 3, and I was the guy that brought my black heavy-duty eSight case wherever I went, because I'm the kind of person that will squish it on accident and break it. And this thing feels so rugged, and the fact that it folds up so easily. I have not been bringing my case when I take this out and about. I feel comfortable enough putting it in my pockets. And then Jeanette was talking about the neck battery. Here's what it looks like. I thought I was going to hate it. I don't like things on my neck. I hate neckties, and it is so ergonomic and lightweight. It does not bother me one bit. This does not fold, so I usually, when I'm out and about, carry this in my hand, but it's so light, easy enough, or put in my wife's purse. But these fold up just like sunglasses, and I put them right in the pocket. And the plastic, the build on this device just feels really tough, and I'm not concerned about it being in the pocket. I've gone to a Dodgers game. I'm out in Los Angeles, so I've gone to a Dodgers game. I've been to a Los Angeles Kings hockey game. It performed remarkably well at the hockey game. I was behind the net and a little bit off to the side, and I was anticipating it struggling to pick up the little black puck on the bright white ice, but it did. And as the players were coming at me, I was able to track them. And hockey's a very challenging sport to try and follow. And yes, when they're going fast with the puck, for a fully sighted person, it's tough to see. But especially once they got right in front of me and were going around the net and taking shots, I could focus on the goalie, and it handled everything really well. At the baseball game, I was very far away, out in the outfield, so about 400 feet away. And again, the image stabilization makes a huge difference. At our past Vision Centrals I've shared, video I have recorded with my eSight 4 at the Dodger game. And when I'm at maximum zoom, you can see, even though I'm a veteran of eSight for 6 years now, the image shakiness is a challenge. And this makes it so much smoother, so much easier to stay on target. And you're going to keep hearing us call it a game changer, because it's a big deal. And the engineers really nailed it. That it is just, I'd say it's an A+, the image stabilization. And I've never had such a pleasure reading. Like with eSight 3 and 4, I could read, but it's so smooth now. It's not there's no chore in it. And when my little 4-year-olds bring me a book, it's fun to read. Whereas before I could read, I wouldn't have called it fun. The instant on that Jeanette was referring to, that's a really big deal for me too. So there is no internal battery. Well, there's a tiny one to just keep it on standby. But once you unplug it from this neck battery, it'll go to standby mode, and it'll hold on standby mode for up to 8 hours. And so what does that mean? I'm with my twin 4-year-olds. They want me to read a book. Okay. And then their little attention spans 30 seconds later are running into another room. Unplug it, put it to standby. And then 10 minutes later, Daddy, read me a book again. Okay. Put them on, snap the plug in, and it's on right away. There is no 40, 60-second boot up like with eSight 3 and 4. And so that just makes it, like Richard said, like a pair of reading glasses. And in the past, if I needed to microwave my lunch, I wasn't going to go into my home office, grab my eSight 3, boot it up, walk back to the kitchen to read, microwave on high for 3 minutes, and then have to go put it back. But with this, I will. And the headset controls. So eSight 3 had a wired remote. eSight 4 had a wireless remote and headset controls that were tricky. The engineers, once again, have done a fantastic job, and I have found that I don't use my remote anymore. There are 4 buttons on this right arm, and they're so simple to use and accurate and tactile that I've got my remote on my desk, but I just use this. And that's really nice that you don't have this is all you need. You can be wired in directly to the wall. So if I'm sitting here and just watching TV and don't want to waste my neck battery, this we're finding lasts about 4 hours, which is great. I could just plug it directly into the wall. And something like a Mophie battery, another external battery pack, that can work too. You just obviously don't wear it on your neck. You can put it in a pocket and run the cable up here. But I'm really pleased by this neck battery. And then TV and screen viewing, again, I am enjoying it way more with this unit. So the digital tilt that we were talking about earlier, when I watch baseball out here, my TV's about 15 feet away, and my vision's 20/400. And in sports, they're constantly zooming out, zooming in, showing a close up of somebody's face. Then when the actual pitch is being thrown, they're at the faraway view. So I don't like watching it the entire time through the eSight. So I will find my comfortable zoom level around 10 or 15. And then I will sit back just a little bit. And so I'm looking under the eSight with my naked eyes, and I can see, okay, they're on a close up of the pitcher's face right now, and now they're getting ready to throw it. And instead of having to go like this with my neck constantly, because of that digital tilt, I've got it tilted down just one level, about 6 degrees. And now my eSight's looking at the TV, and I can use my naked eyes to look at the TV. And so there's no neck movement required. I can just sit here comfortably, and okay, the pitch is getting ready. Now I'm looking up into my eSight, which is looking down at the TV, and I really, really like that. Or if I want to glance at what the scoreboard is saying, there's no neck movement at all. I'm just sitting here, and so that tilt feature is really useful. And The camera autofocus is phenomenal. I think it's safe to say this is the best autofocus we've had in eSight. And the exposure is really snappy. So if I'm looking at you guys on my phone right now, it adjusts really quick in sharpness. And pardon, the cat wants to share her thoughts. So this camera technology, which was, our new partners, Gentex, they've been great in helping us build this device, and it's really exciting.
Very good. Thank you, Gato. All right. Next, I want to show Leah. There's a video here of sorting some beads. And she uses the eSight Go to do this. So I'm going to pull up this video here. And it's a quick video, but it's very cool. I think it's something that I wouldn't be skilled enough to do. So one moment.
And just while Tyler's getting this up and running and everything, unfortunately, right now, the Go does not offer video and camera capabilities. So this was me using the Go and taking the video with my cell phone. Thank you, Tyler.
There we go. Everyone can see the video? Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler, so I'm going to be sorting colored beads. I have this box of mismatched colored beads that I want to resort out. I had them all combined together for a reason. Now I don't need that reason anymore. So I want to get them sorted back out into their individual colors. So since I am working with something where I will have to tilt my head downward to relieve that pressure on my neck, I utilize the eSight Go's digital tilt, and I put that in at a -4. That's the lowest it can go. It's looking in a downward position. After that, I switch it back over to zoom, and I put the zoom at what works for me. In this case, it was a 17, 18, around there. That allows me to easily see the beads, but also still see surrounding the beads as well. It is just not on the beads. And then I just start to sort them. I do them by color individually. I use a pair of tweezers just to pick them up a lot easier. And then I drop them down into the muffin pan that I am using to keep them separated. So this is just a different angle. As you can tell, using the eSight Go, it made this job very efficient. It was very effective. I didn't have to ask for any help from anybody, which more than likely I would have had to without the use of the Go. So I was very glad that I had it and was able to use it in this fashion.
Thank you very much. And very, very skilled, Leah, with the hand-eye coordination with the tweezers. I think that's quite good. Nothing I haven't asked
It's
yet.
just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. All right. So that's covering the coaching experiences with the eSight Go so far, and we've all been enjoying the device for a variety of tasks. And if anyone has any questions, you can definitely feel free to raise your hand. And we are a bit limited on time. I know we have a lot of attendees, but if anyone is interested in asking a question, feel free to raise your hand, and we can go from there. Coach, did you guys see any hand raising?
I don't.
I see one from someone there. Let's see if I can bring them on. A couple of hands, okay. So Jessica, I'm going to try to see if I can bring you on, unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Mhm.
Okay. So are we able to trade in our eSight 4s to get a discount on the eSight Go?
That might be something that's possibly going to be coming up in the future. Not something that we have right now, but we have done similar programs in the past.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Tyler, and correct me if I'm wrong. In the past, it was not a trade-in, but there was. You will, if such a program comes, you will probably keep your current eSight, and it would just be a discount for.
Okay. Let's see here. Aaron Mitchell, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, I had talked to Richard asked Richard this question before, and I know one feature that we lost between the 3 and the 4 was the ability to fine tune the focus, because sometimes it isn't really focused exactly the way it needs to be, and we lost that in the 4. And Richard thought that maybe they were thinking about working on that, but you didn't mention it, so I guess that didn't come to pass, that there isn't a way to fine tune the focus if it's a little off.
For
Yeah.
the eSight Go, it is just an autofocus.
Okay, so it's like the 4 then. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's just an autofocus.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Grant has his hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler, and thank you everyone for your presentations. Looks like a great device. I've had the 3 and the 4. I guess my question is, I guess it's 2 parts. How does the resolution of the screen compare to, and I know this is subjective, obviously based on our vision, but generally speaking, how does the resolution of the screen and the cameras compare to the previous models? Would you say it's a higher density, or just how does that compare? And then the other question I had is, walking outside, and big challenge for me is transitioning from bright sunlight to the shade of buildings or trees. I'm always constantly taking my sunglasses on and off. How does the eSight Go handle changes of outdoor brightness in those transition periods? Thank you.
Well, I guess for the brightness, I mean, still kind of principle applies with regards to having something to block any external light to make sure nothing coming through the top, like having a baseball cap is definitely helpful with that. But the camera itself seems to do quite well. There is a bit of light though coming from the bottom and the side, so there's more peripheral open at the bottom. So someone light sensitivity does kind of affect how well they're seeing the screen. But I mean, the cameras themselves are definitely quick and responsive. Cosmo, can you speak to that when you brought it to the baseball game, right? Cosmo's on me. Okay, well, anyway, I know one of myself when I've been a few times.
I have being out in Los Angeles a good amount of bright sunlight experience, and the camera and the screens handle it well. And like Tyler said, a little bit of shade from my hat can help. But when I was out at the Dodger game in bright sunlight with just a baseball cap, and with the design of the Go, a baseball cap doesn't really fit forward because the unit sits a little bit high on your forehead. So I was wearing my cap backwards, so there was no shading on the screens, and it handled it fine. It wasn't washed out. I could see it, and the camera's exposure adjustment is really snappy. So if I walk from outside to indoors, it brightens up immediately, and it's really good.
Yeah, and I live in Florida, and I found that sometimes I'll go out and look at the bird feeder in our garden, and I can see the flowers on the other side. We have a lanai, and outside of that lanai, outside of a screened area, we have quite an extensive landscaping, and I love to look at some of the flowers and also the birds, taking a bath in the bird bath, and I find that I can do these things very well with eSight Go. As Cosmo said, the exposure is very snappy. very good. So it does adjust, according to the brightness of the atmosphere in which you're looking.
And in regards to the pixels or the resolution, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the screens are higher resolution, but I don't remember what the specs are.
Yeah, I actually don't have the numbers in front of me. I rated a high resolution screen.
But it's they say when it comes to like something like a TV, if you're dealing with anything under a 26-inch TV, there is no point in getting a 1080p high def TV because the human eye can't pick up the difference on a screen that small. And our eSight screens are much smaller than a 26-inch TV, so I don't think it will be very noticeable to any of us, the difference in the two screen resolutions because they're so small.
Well, I would just add to that, from my own experience, because obviously I can't trust myself when it comes to resolution and clarity, right? There's always going to be some issues with that because of my condition. That being said, the overall image of what I'm seeing in the Go is improved, and that's for many reasons, but not the least of which is the stability. Because things are more stable, I can use a little bit less magnification than I'm used to using. And so I don't know if that really is the same thing as what you would expect with resolution, but it does speak to the quality of your the vision that you're getting out of it.
Next, I see a question from Benjamin. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. There's a Jessica Jackson. We have looks like her hands raised. Do you have a question?
Yeah, are we able to get extra batteries?
So neck batteries, they are able to be purchased separately. So if someone's interested in getting extra neck batteries, definitely could be a thing. And as Cosmo mentioned, you can also use a external battery like a Mophie battery to run the device also. So it's whatever you prefer.
Hey Tyler, I've got a couple of questions in the Q&A section. If
Sure.
Can you explain how the home experience works?
Okay, so the home experience works is that the person gets access to the eSight and tries the eSight device for a short period of time. For the home experience, I don't necessarily deal with that myself as a coach, but our sales department, the best people to speak with to call in. But basically, you would be screened. If you're a candidate for the eSight Go, there's a fee for the home experience. And then you get the access to the device for a few days to try the device. When you get access to the device, you get paired up with a coach to have a session with you to help you with the setup and help with the basic functionality of the unit. And then you'd have a follow-up call with the salesperson, talk about your experience, and you could possibly set up another follow-up session if needed, or you may decide that eSight is not right for you. That's kind of the high-level version of it. And the best person to speak with kind of with setting up that home experience would be Derek, who works in the sales department.
And that's it from the Q&A section.
Okay. And I did see a question of someone pop up that said, does the eSight work at night? So I was going to answer that because I just saw that briefly. The eSight doesn't have a night vision mode per se, but it does try to utilize a light source. So if you're out somewhere and there is like street lamps and so forth, or headlights from a car, it does try to brighten that up. and it may be more beneficial than how it is with someone's normal vision, but it doesn't have a night vision mode. So depending on the amount of light or ambient light that's in an area, kind of helps how well you can see. So for example, in my backyard, I just have a little porch light, and if I'm looking away from the porch light, I can't see very well due to the lack of light with the eSight Go. But if I'm looking towards the light, I can definitely make out the steps, and I can make out the distance between the steps much more easier because it's going to brighten up the screens a bit than with my normal vision. So you always have to have some ambient light around you.
I would also add to that, Tyler. Again, I have sometimes put this on in the evenings just to look around. Here in Florida, it's starting, the sun's setting at about 8 now, end of May. So we're still pretty much in dusk until about 8:30. And I can tell you that when I put the eSight on at about that time, about 8, it makes it look like it's afternoon. I just can't believe it. I absolutely cannot believe. I even had my husband look into it. I said, look at this. And he was like, wow, it makes it look like it's mid-afternoon. It just brightens everything up. It's amazing. So, at night when it's absolutely pitch dark, I mean, there's a lot of lighting around here. And again, we have quite a lot of landscape lighting as well. But so that helps. But even so, I mean, if you're wanting to sort of walk outside when it's dusk and the birds are singing and so forth, which I love that time of the evening in May. It's gorgeous because you can now see the flowers and everything, and it's just that right sort of light that it gives you at least 2 or 3 shades lighter, and it gives you the ability to just look at nature and admire those things with a perspective where it's not too glary, and it's a very comfortable time as well, especially in a hot climate like this one. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I know we have. Someone said something.
Yeah, sorry, I raised my hand long time back, but I have one question. If you would please let me ask. Yeah, my son, since the birth, he got a brain injury. So he has like a CVI, critical visual impairment. So would it help the eSight Go in his case?
So can you describe your son's vision again? I don't.
He has a critical visual impairment, a brain injury.
Okay. Then, so the eyes, the screen. So if the eyes are still working well, it's how you're seeing that image. So if it's the retinas are working, but the brain's not processing what the retinas are seeing, I don't think that the eSight would necessarily benefit per se, if it's the brain kind of processing that visual image, right? Like if there's a central vision loss, normally it's a retinal issue, right? There's macular degeneration, there's issues with the damage of the retina itself. So the eSight is going around and using the peripheral vision. But if the injury to the brain is where the eye is fully functioning, but the brain's not processing it through, say, so forth, that might be an issue. Now, if it's an optic nerve issue, where it's a loss of center vision due to an optic nerve problem, then the eSight might be beneficial that way. So there is some assistance with the optic nerve condition with eSight. So I don't know enough details about your son's condition, but my best advice would be to phone in to the eSight and discuss with our team and kind of get more detail about
fill out that form that Devesh put in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and if anybody else has any questions about will eSight work for you or your loved one, the coaches are not best suited for handling that we have people that are trained for the screening process. So that's where that form that was posted in the chat, or calling in to our specialists who are trained for helping you figure out if it works for you.
Right, and generally speaking, this is not really just speaking to the brain injury scenario. It's speaking generally, so it could include that, it may not include that. If a person has some functional vision that they are able to use, and they find that they are able to use it on a daily basis, but things need to be blown up to be large, or, you know, they can see things close up, or, you know, they have a general picture around, but nothing in detail. So if they have some functional and useful vision, then the chances are that there's a good chance that the eSight may be of benefit to them. But as Tyler said, it's quite a complex issue because it also depends on how the brain, you know, processes what's coming into those visual pathways, and that's the same even if you've had a visual impairment since birth, as I have, and you're learning how to see, you're learning what it is that you're looking at. That is a process as well. If you've not seen something in detail before, and now you put on the eSight and you can see it in detail, sometimes you have to learn what it is you're seeing. So there is a process involved. I would say, you know, depending on where you are as well. Sir, are you international? Are you in the States? Okay, so maybe he's muted, but you know, that we do have, you know, various ways in which you can actually, you know, also try these devices as well. So.
Okay. I just see a quick question.
Sorry.
Yep, go ahead. No, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sorry for diameter. This is the last question, and I'm really sorry for interruption. What is the minimum diameter, head diameter, that eSight Go could fit? Because my son, he is 6 years old, and his head diameter is very less.
I don't actually know the head diameter. How the eSight Go works, though, is that the arms kind of taper in at the back, quite small. I have seen younger people try the device, but you know, depending on the size of the head, kind of determines the comfort of it. But younger people have tried it around that age, but it's a bit. I think something we'd want to try, and have a look at for that. I did see
Thank you.
someone. I did see someone ask in the chat if you could use computers with the eSight Go. You can look at a computer screen similar to how you'd look at the TV screen with the eSight Go. So I've been using it, you know, looking at the meeting room here to see the buttons and so forth to control the meeting room, and all the numerous hands that have come up for this meeting for this. So definitely eSight Go is usable on a computer room. So a computer screen. I am seeing though time-wise though that we are running short on time. So I would advise for questions and so forth, in interest, definitely complete that form that the vet shared in the chat. And also you can feel free to call in to eSight with questions. And we've got some people that will be able to assist you with that. But thank you everyone for attending for this month's Vision Center. We will be back in June. Probably have like a more specific thing to talk about. But happy that everyone here could attend and hopefully kind of enjoy the experiences that the coaches have had with their eSight Go unit. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.